So my name is Christopher Equizi. I am he, him. In drag, my name is Virginia West, and I could do he, him, or she, her in that as well. I've been doing drag for 28 years in Columbus, Ohio. I started the West family and grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania called Beaver. And shocking, I became a drag queen after that, right? And went to school for musical theater, and my parents never knew that I had done drag. I was kind of always embarrassed to tell them. Growing up in a small town, you think they're not going to understand, and I definitely did not want to be trans. I was not a woman. I just wanted to be an actor, and it was a character that I created. So during the pandemic, my parents had to come to Columbus for a small surgery. My mother had wrist surgery. My father had shoulder surgery. And they stayed at my house. So I would always lock my basement door where all my drag was. And I came down. I forgot that I had not locked it the night before, and came downstairs to my father wearing a Cher wig. And I looked and I thought, well, first of all, that is the most unattractive drag queen I've ever seen in my life. It was my dad in his arm sling. And I looked at him, I said, where have you been? And he said, downstairs in your drag room. And I was shocked because I thought they would kind of be, a little maybe upset about it, and they weren't. And I had found out that they had already known, but they hadn't told me. They were waiting for me to tell them. Nina West, my best friend, they know Nina very well. They Googled Nina West. Well, then, of course, these pictures of me and Nina come up, and it's not hard to tell that I'm Virginia West outside of it because of my nose structure and my voice. I'm very nasally, and he knew the whole time and never told us. And ever since that day, about 5 years ago now, they have been to every one of my main stage production shows, and they're just absolutely wonderful. And it just reminds me that the preconceived notions that we have about people outside of how we think they're going to act can be completely different from how they're actually going to receive it. To me, drag is activism, and activism is drag. I think we always say Pride was a riot, and Pride started with a brick. But I think a lot of people don't really truly know the history of Stonewall and don't really understand that it was a Black trans woman who started it. And if we ever stop being activists, then why do we have a microphone? I always say, I understand my role in drag. I'm a cis white male, I understand. But it would be remiss of me to not use my microphone to better the community. And I stand on stage primarily in my drag family with Black entertainers, with trans entertainers, with AFAB entertainers, drag kings. And when I stand in front of them and I turn around and I see this beautiful wave of diversity, their voices aren't being heard as much as mine. So to me, drag is activism. Without activism, I wouldn't be a drag entertainer. I think it started out as acting for me, and it's made me rise to be this activist. The community in Columbus is so different, I think, than anywhere else in the country. I've traveled a lot doing drag. Our community here is so brilliant. We have such diverse characters and such diverse people on stage. You can go to any bar in town every night of the week and you can catch a drag show or a burlesque show. And what's great is we have drag kings. We have AFAB queens that are performing. We have a few straight ladies that entertain and drag as well. And it just kind of breaks down this barrier of sexuality and gender identity. And I think Columbus does that really great because we're such an accepting city. And I haven't seen it a lot around the country as much as I've seen it here. So I'm so honored to be part of this community because I don't think this happens everywhere.